Welcome Emrys to your first YouTube booktube. He's da 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 da. He's like, what is this? Why am I here? Okay. Good morning. It is a weekend. I'm never really in my home, so just took a shower. I am about to get ready to film. This is the state of my library. I know that I have one eyelash on currently, don't you worry, but I'm taking the dog out first. Ready? Just be safe, Bubba. I'll see you in a bit. Anyway. Emrys? Where'd you go, dog? Oh, he's on the other side. Emrys! There he is. Alright, hurry up. Let's go. I do have a few fixes to do this morning, which is I need to fix this. I have to string up the lights that fell down. Let's just... yeah. This place was nice and clean until I came back home. So, this is what happens when you don't have anybody else living in the home with you. But that's how I chose it. Do my blind. The other dog broke it while he was here because he has to he has beef with the black dog next door. Yeah, I know my parents are coming. So right now my hair is up, I'm gonna blow dry it so you guys can see that process. It's cluttered right now. What I think I'm about to do though is I'm going to move this and move it to where the other shoes are. And then all this stuff right here is for me making my holiday decorations for my bedroom. I need to get that fixed. This was clean and now it's not. Yesterday, all I did was my old phone. As you can see, it's all screwed up. That's why I had to get a new one. So I uploaded all my pictures and videos there. At least I tried to. I'm really liking these decorations though. When you don't look at the surface stuff, it looks really festive. Man, it's hot in here. So what we're gonna do today is fix all this and at least give it to where it's presentable back there. Or maybe back here. I think I like this area to film today. Just fix all this. Move it over here. But yeah. Really like my skis, even though I snowboard. Trying to get the dog. Emrys! Let's go! Emrys! Good boy. Emrys. Let's go. Good boy. Oh, you get such a good treat. You came inside without biting me. Good boy. Come on, let's go get a treat. Sit. Sit. Mano. Good boy. That's for... Okay, I'm gonna get my hair done. How does it look? Emrys. Alright, I'm just checking to see if this is good or if I need to put the overhead lights on. My ring lights are not working because I can't find the cords. But this is Emrys. Welcome, Emrys, to your first ever, like, real booktube. I hope this works because I'm about to talk about some books. Okay? Cool. I'm gonna try to put this in Lyra based on my Instagram, so go check on my Instagram today. Okay. So, welcome back. I am wearing my Thanos shirt right now just because I couldn't find any. Well, I mean, this really technically doesn't fit, but oh well. Or hi, if you're new, my name is Tanya, and I want to talk to you about the books that I finally finished in fall. That means the beginning of the bird months, essentially, like August, September, and October, and November. It's not a lot of books. Trust me, I could have been reading more, but I finally found something that's kickstarted my the passion for reading again. Right now, all I've read was the Pride and Premeditation, Modern Dating, The Ancient Witch's Guide to Modern Dating, Ninth House, Fall I Want, Burn It All, Sharp Objects, A Cruel Thirst, Library of the Dead, The Name Bearer, To Shape a Dragon's Breath, The Other Side of Now, and Fall Too Well. That is 12 books so far, which compared to where I have been in the past 2 years, that's pretty dang great. A few of them I read on Kindle Unlimited, just because a lot of these were book club, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of them are for book club, and I have a bad habit of not remembering the books that I've read. We are in a little bit of a different direction than what you guys have seen, or if you have watched. It's normally that side that I film in. This is my Harry Potter side. I thought that would fit the vibe of both the fall and winter vibes. I have like almost 4 bookshelves dedicated to Harry Potter stuff, and that's just because I have 2 Harry Potter subscriptions, like little trinkets and stuff like that, so that's where a lot of these come from. One of them was the LitJoy magical subscription. I think most of this is from the Wizard Truck, I want to say, was the other one. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome, Emrys. This is really his first debut in the YouTube world, essentially. Hey, say hey. He is 9 to 10 months old now. I can't believe it. I got him, his birthday's like February something, so he's a Pisces just like me. He's literally my child, and it's weird for me to say that I'm like a mom in general, but he is my corgi. He's a Pembroke Welsh, and yeah, he's full bred. He's quite the little stinker. He's pretty good at like whenever treats are involved, but besides that, it's just me and him in this house right now, so he's just like super clingy just because our poodle isn't with us. He's with my sister. He's not dead. 6 of these were book club books. Compared to last year, I'm doing really well. The first book that we're going to talk about is Pride and Premeditation. I don't remember like half the stuff that I've read. All I remember is that this really got me out of my funk. So Pride and Premeditation is another retelling of Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. Jane is working with her father in a law office. The father is a barrister. Collins is working with her father, and he is quite annoying. Her best friend is one of the secretaries, so that was very nice to have them more interacted. Bingley. Mr. Bingley is accused of murdering his brother-in-law, and Jane just, that doesn't seem right when she was listening to the details. So she decided to help Mr. Bingley out, mostly because her barrister father was, hey, keep under the radar, but she's trying to see if she could become herself. She wants to be what her father is and get in that train. Barrister means law, judge, I want to say, I think it's like judge. But so she takes it upon herself to show her father that she can do things on her own, one, and two, prove herself that she can become what her father is. And I don't think that her father ever had a doubt that she was going to be able to do that. It's just like during those times, women weren't given that kind of opportunity. So she was just trying to prove to herself and prove to her father and prove to the world that she can do it. She can become, or essentially she becomes a sleuth. And she goes undercover to Mr. Bingley and undercover as his sister. And he plays along with it, which I think is really funny. Who barges in, and Mr. Darcy in this retelling is not as awkward. He's more angry than he is in the regular Pride and Prejudice. Because they're interacting more solely because she's like meddling into his affairs. Who ended up being the murderer is quite wonderful, how they wove it in and everything like that. It's just really well done. I gave this 5 stars, like absolutely. The banter was there. It was very intriguing, it kept you hooked. You wanted to know how it ended because it was like the same characters that we've always known, but in a murder mystery. So the next book that I ended up reading was The Ancient Witch's Guide to Modern Dating. I think that I read this within a few days, and it's by Cecilia Edward. I think the cover art is so beautiful. I think the sprayed edge were cute as well. Okay, Thorn Scarheart. Now, I like to think that this is another retelling of Hocus Pocus, essentially. Thorn Scarheart, she is trying to find love. She knows a witch that does matchmaking. This witch potion and put way too much into her initial old-timey boo thing that she was trying to snatch up. Because he put too much or something like that, like the dosage was wrong, come out of the spell right before he was going to say I love you to seal. Basically, like the potion needed an I love you to seal the deal and seal the potion and seal the whole thing. But yeah, he woke up right before it happened. Then he's scared of her because she's older. She's like in her 40s, I want to say. Definitely a spinster. She's definitely not looking nice and young. Back in the day, everybody around town was just like, oh gosh, why is he with her? He's the most eligible bachelor. And so the other witch that isn't Thorn, she shows up, she's like talking to Thorn, like, what did you expect? 1, you gave the wrong dosage. 2, why did you pick the most eligible bachelor? You should have picked something a little bit more conspicuous. Her mom passed away. Her sister is gone. She disappeared years ago. Oh, she's 39. My bad. Basically, Thorn thinks that her mom died of a broken heart, but I'm pretty sure it was like some sort of like cold that she caught and she just couldn't do it. But her mom was trying to perfect this one recipe, and it was like the true love potion that the mom was trying to make. And she is trying to make a new and improved true love potion. So in between this, after she got scolded, she's working on this spell. She has an intruder, which is like this lady who... So basically, Thorn used to sell at these markets in town. Thorn lives in the middle of nowhere in the woods. I think of Hocus Pocus because they came out with that new Hocus Pocus. They were in town, but then they ran into the woods, and that's where most of the magic came from. That's what I'm thinking about where she lives. Because of where she lives, there's like a lot of legends or something like that. There's a bear or something that snatched her sister away. It kept her from being more private, and people didn't have to think that she was a witch or something. There's a townswoman that comes to her all the way into the woods, putting her life in danger because of despair or whatever. Thorn is making this potion or whatever. Something happens and it spills, and then she makes her become like I want to say it's a frog. So she gets caught into that. She does have a cat. Like, that's why I thought it was just like total Hocus Pocus vibes. Is because she has a cat and he talks back. He's like Salem, and being Salem from Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Very sassy, very, come on. You're here to serve me. I'm your overlord. I think that's the cat. That's not Bing. Bandit. Her and Bandit are like thick as thieves. Love potion makes like a portal or something like that, and she goes through it, and then boom, she's in the new modern day. I want to say it's 2023, 2024. She comes into her house, but it is used as a historic museum. Like the Sanderson sisters. The Historical Society makes tours. There was an alert going off. There's a main chick who is in charge of the society, believing that she's from the 1600s, one of those. And so she helps her acclimate to the modern world. That was very sweet of her, and I cannot remember her name. Her name is Meg. Makes a deal with Thorn and was like, hey, listen, you can still live here in your cottage, but you have to pretend to be the old witch actor or whatever, because something happened when she was there where she was interacting with them and everybody loved it. Everybody thought that she was just like an outrageous actress. Meg was just like, oh, this is gonna bring in money. So they made social media out of her, and Thorn trying to figure out how to make use of technology is really funny. When she goes out of the cottage for the first time, she meets 2 other cats. She can talk to all animals, I think. That comes into play because Meg's brother, where these cats were in trouble, this man normally feeds the cats. It turns out to be Meg's brother. Thorn's, holy crap, he is smoking. He sees the good side of her and thinks she's beautiful. That's the romance part, but that isn't the main plot. Meg's like, why don't you just go on online dating? Thorn doing online dating is like the funniest thing. These guys are obviously just hitting it and quitting it. And she's trying to navigate through what they're talking about. She's trying to tell them, have them say to her that they love her, so the true love potion can activate. Between like the romance, the dating, her like becoming a TikTok phenomenon or like a social media phenomenon and bringing in business to this historical society, there is like something going on with the cats. The cats are being like terrified that they can't speak, or yeah, they're wigging them out, and it turns out that there's this other party coming in, and it's because I was reading so fast, I didn't catch who it was until like way towards the end. I'm like, ah, that! And all her past becomes a part of her future. And then there's like a bandit backstory that like ties everything together, and it's whoa! So like this last half is super trippy. Everything here is just like really funny and endearing. You're just like trying to get to know who Thorn is, trying to get to know the plot. But I feel like they threw so much at once that I wasn't disappointed with how it all turned out. This is a standalone, but it's very cute. I think that they could go on with one more with how much they packed. Yeah, so it's romance, it's a rom-com, it's a coming of age, and it's also a murder mystery. And to be quite honest, I like the way everything fell into pieces, and also it talks about inner beauty, blah blah blah, and you don't have to change yourself for a man, or what attractiveness does help in the dating world. I gave it a 5 stars, I want to say, because it was just so chaotic, but I enjoyed it, and I loved Bandit. It just gave me like Salem vibes, and it's Sabrina the Teenage Witch meets Hocus Pocus meets like Love Island or something, like modern dating. So, okay, so the third book that I ended up reading, this was for book club, was Ninth House. Now, this is my second reread of Ninth House. My first book club that I helped start, it's called Books and Banter, and started off with 10 of us, and now there's like 21 of us. But it's good because not everybody comes at the same time, so we like ideas keep being fresh and fun, and it's like the girls, we've had our second one already, so now we're on our third. Ninth House is about Alex Stern, who goes to Yale, and this like wicked backstory. She is trying to figure out how to move forward in the secret society, where, surprise, she could see ghosts. And that's honestly the only reason why she was even accepted into Yale, even with her tumultuous past, and her accepted to a secret society. Now, Darlington is a second POV, but he isn't in the actual world. You'll just go back to his flashbacks. And so it's like Alex during present day, and then going back to Darlington during those flashbacks, and Darlington talking about those flashbacks, and you don't know where Darlington is. Darlington's disappeared, and that's where we started. There's a lot that goes on to it. It's like, again, secret societies in Yale geared towards the macabre and ritualistic and all that stuff. This time around, I think I really appreciated it more. There is a huge theme of grief, complex PTSD, drug abuse, and go to Storygraph and then it'll tell you all the trigger warnings there. I forgot how dark it got, especially when she's going through her own flashbacks. Take your time in reading this. This has murder, it's got mystery, it's got a disappearance, it's got magic system, it's got dark academia. It is about books, it's about learning, it's about healing and everything. So this book essentially just kind of helped my healing era with everything that I've gone through this past year, like the past year and a half to 2 years now. I can't believe that I am past a year and a half of coming out of treatment. Yeah, I'm like starting to cry just thinking about it, because her talking about grief and the way that and I've already read this, so it didn't hit as hard because I wasn't nowhere near in the same space as she was. And 10 stars. I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads, but 10 stars on everything else. Because you just get everything. Learning how to move forward without the person you thought you were going to bring along with. It hits. And Hellbent is the second book, so it is a series. I think there's a third one coming out. The second one is not as in mental health. It's like a buddy cop with a found family, and this one is like healing grief. Let's start this magic system. Could it become a romance? Who knows? I really enjoyed all of it. I really don't want to give it away, because this one I feel like everybody should read, just because of how, like, one, it's thick, two, it is like the magic system inside Yale, something that it is concrete here. So it's like Legendborn for me, where that one's talking about UNC, and then this one's talking about Yale. And Yale is something that to most of the masses is very unreachable, but it is still concrete because it's still here. And so a lot of us are like, wait, are there secret societies there? And I'm over here, what if Rory found them? What if Rory found the Life and Death Brigade, right? So just imagine that, but with like magic and ghouls and rituals and sacrifices and blood. Rory was incredibly sheltered and nowhere near what Alex has gone through. But to find her moving on, one, without her friend that passed away, and two, her ability to see ghosts and like how much that has screwed why she delved into drugs in the first place. Three, the loss of Darlington and what that means with her relationship with one of the researchers. Her name is Dawes, and her button heads with somebody who she's like the in-between between the secret society and the outside world, which is like with the murder mystery happening, there's a cop who works for the secret society but doesn't really understand the depth of it, and so she's like a mediation for him and the secret society and keeping things in check because Darlington's gone. And we're trying to figure out what's happening with Darlington and what's been covered up, how much it's covered up. Like, I'm so glad I got to reread, because I have all these books on my shelves that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get to it one day. But I have these books on my shelves because they all have spoken to me, besides all the new ones, but they have all done something where it's spoken to me, and one day I'm gonna sit down and reread them. Like, I've already been thinking about rereading Under the Whispering Door again, because that one destroyed me. This kicked off the healing era. I ended up reading it was Fall. I read this on Kindle because I have a Kindle Unlimited for play by Lyra Parish. This is the first book of the Cozy Creek series. I think it's different authors that write within the same kind of realm. We start off at a coffee shop in this cozy little town in Colorado. Her name is Autumn. She's talking to her coworkers about how it hasn't written in quite some time because of a breakup that really destroyed her. All of a sudden, in comes this handsome. He orders the drink, takes a sip of it, and this is disgusting. That's where it starts. His name on the order is Alex. And that's their meet cute, essentially. She's just, oh my god, this is a beautiful man. And he's just like, this, like the thing that she worked so hard on and she knows that she's really good at. He goes, this is disgusting. I'm just like, oh my god, I would freaking lose it. So she's already angry at him. He's not a townie, and people think that he's just a tourist or whatever. But really, this man is Zane Alexander. He has got money. His family is like real estate owners of like all over, especially ski lodges. And one of the ski lodges happens to be where this town is. There's a mansion on top of the hill that everybody thinks is haunted. Guess what, guys? Zane Alexander owns that home. His mom owned it, but his mom passed away when he was like 13 or something like that due to cancer, and he hasn't come back in like 20 years. Basically, he's going through a breakup as well, but more public, so he just was like, I'm gone. Places where his mom loved, and that was her favorite place in the entire world. And it was the dad's at one point, but nobody's gone there since she passed away. You're talking about grief here. It was pretty heavy because this was actually the loss of somebody. And I mean, that ninth house was the same. This one is like trying to reinvent yourself from trying to like rediscover who you are and where did your life go wrong, all this stuff from both ends. Autumn likes to run. She goes up running all the way up here to this hill where this mansion is. The only reason why she goes into the mansion at all is because that was like her tradition, is just like kids would go and try to touch the door and see if it would open and then run away. That was like what kids do, ding dong ditch, whatever. So she goes over and does the thing for her friends, goes up there and opens the door, and it actually opens. So she goes and wanders around. Girl, Where is your sense of safety? Goes into this library and oh my gosh, it's like a Belle's library apparently. And then all of a sudden she turns around and boom, guess who's there? The owner. And the owner is who? Zane Alexander. The way that he talks to her, obviously he's upset and to be fair, he is in a position where he likes Autumn. He's dang, she's like the most beautiful girl I've ever seen, but I cannot do this. I just got out of a relationship. I just want to do me. I'm grieving my mother still. I'm grieving who I am. I'm grieving my loss of all my friends, not his fame and fortune and all that stuff. I'm trying to figure out who I am, and I can't be involved with somebody, especially somebody who lives in my mom's town, because I don't want anything to ruin my peace here too. But he is a little flirt, and he knows that he can get whatever he wants, but he also doesn't want to entertain her, but he does at the same time. I don't know. So he's like flip-flopping back and forth in his head. I don't want to be with her, but dang, she's beautiful. What if she's the one? But dang, like I already know it. He was threatening to call the police. It's just, no, don't call the police on me, blah, blah. I'll give you an IOU only this one time. And so he's like, fine. After their first interaction, he spends a couple of days not even sleeping in because he can't sleep. He's been like having nightmares and rediscovering this home of his mom's, and finds letters. And with his letters, something was, go live your life. And so he decides to go and get a coffee because he's out of coffee. That's what it is. But he wants to avoid the coffee shop as much as he can because he doesn't want to be anywhere near her. But then everybody's directing, oh, you want really good coffee or coffee beans in general? You gotta go to the coffee store. So he's just like, fine. So he goes, and the greatest thing is that he literally pays for everybody the second time around. He's just like, listen, I'll pay for everybody behind me because it's like a very popular coffee shop, so it's like lines wrapped around, because I'll pay for everybody behind me as long as she doesn't make me coffee. Such a douche. But that's the kind of money that he has. He has money. Autumn obviously sees this her go out for drinks at the local bar. She's complaining about him, like, this is the guy you're gonna date, blah blah. And she's like, no, he sucks. And all of a sudden her ex-boyfriend comes into town, and guess who is her knight shining armor? Zane. He's named Alex by this time. Nobody knows he's Zane Alexander right now. And so he flies in, and he's just, what are you doing with my girl? And apparently Zane and the ex-boyfriend know each other because they used to snowboard together. Zane Alexander used to be like a pro snowboarder before he had an accident, but that's not where his demise came. Autumn's ex-boyfriend, he's rich as well, was the instructor at this local lodge, and that's how him and Autumn met. But they two have been in cahoots since they were children, so they've known each other. And he's just, that was your ex-boyfriend? He's such a douchebag. Yeah, he's the guy that I dated, like he destroyed me, blah blah blah. In this small moment of time, dude, but he comes back, hey, like I really want to talk to you, please, let's talk or whatever. She's like, no, get away from me. And he's, hey, get away from her, she's my girl. Or he's, you two were dating, blah, weren't you just dating, this, blah blah blah. And to make the ex-boyfriend back off, Autumn and Zane come up with an offer. This is the IOU, where they fake date. And it goes from fake date to real date, not just for a weekend, not for a couple weeks. He's here for a while. He's trying to go to all these events, everything that kind of help him grow closer to his mom. Fake date real hard, really fast. It is not like, I don't know how, we're not trying to say the words I love you, and like you're saying all these things, and he falls for her pretty hard even though he was trying not to, and she was just like, you're gonna hurt me, blah blah blah, because you're gonna leave and I'm just gonna be left and I have to pick up all these pieces and I can't do it. She has written haikus every single day since he's gotten there, so he inspired her. And he knows that she's trying to write a book, or she's been trying to write a book. So he gives her a massive advance. If we're fake dating, let me do this for you. I'll give you this advance. You need to start writing, and then we can help publish it. By the end of the year, you have to finish this book. He's giving her a challenge. And he also asks, just come with me to my dad's wedding. And that twist there is the ex-girlfriend ran off with his best friend. And it gets real spicy real quick. I wasn't expecting that, but I guess I should have known better about these books. There is Vegas involved and Elvis. The sister, he has a sister who like apparently had this prediction, and she gets into like Professor Trelawney and gets into these trances and tells them things, and she forgets what she says, and he tells them exactly how they're gonna meet, what's gonna happen before the end of the year. But like, this is mostly about Zane's grief, managing it, not only for his mom, but like his life, his desire, and reigniting that spark of life again. Oh man, I'm starting to cry thinking about it. And heals the relationships that he had because he dated this chick and she strung him out from everybody. And for people who have been in manipulative relationships, this is a really good read for that, because then having him talk through it while you're reading it is just really nice. So if this is just another book about healing, and that was what I got out of it more than the romance. I don't really care for the sexy part of the scenes. Anger got fueled of how come I don't have a bazillionaire coming after me and just treating me how I should be treated. Not just bazillionaire, romance, sex. It's more of the backstories, like why did you become this way? I want to finish the Cozy Creek series just because it's like a really fast read. 3.5 to 4 stars currently. So that I read was my friend Maggie Aufurth's Burn It All. Holy moles. This is the third book that I read that just destroyed. It's about 2 girls and you go back and forth between Marley and Thea. They're both best friends. Marley, you're learning present time. Thea, you're learning past time. And you're coming up to this dual timeline of what's going on back in the day to present day and how things happen, which, wow, the twist. Wasn't prepared for that. Was not prepared for the twists and turns and everything that's been going on here. Maggie really wrote a beautiful story about 2 girls and their friendship and what family is. It gets really bad to the point where you're like, what would you do in this situation? If you had a friend who you trusted, like your best friend, there was a fallout. You haven't really talked to her since the fallout. You were dating her stepbrother. That fell apart. So Marley is like the it girl now. She and Thea started a social media page about thrifting or learning how to style. Look, that's what kept them together. But then a fallout happened where Marley deleted the social media page, and this is Thea's real shot to go to New York and become part of the fashion industry. It's here, taking place in Georgia. It's in Riverside, Georgia. So if you know about Riverside, it's a little rough. I think what they're talking about is like the other side of town, which is Athens area, where there's like boutiques and works at a boutique. She's become friends with these it girls. Thea feels left behind. And Thea's working at a fast food joint because the mom divorced the stepdad, but the stepdad and the mom have 2 kids, and so 2 kids together, but there was a stepbrother involved. So it's Thea, the stepbrother. Stepbrother is part of linked up with Marley, so they were together for like years. They got engaged, and that engagement broke apart because a lot of stuff happened. And you're just like, what is this? Why is there so much going on? This is the past, right? And then what you're reading with Marley currently is that there have been all these fires that have been started, and they found a body, and that body is Thea's. So she's learning how to grieve her best friend, who now she recognizes she didn't know. And then, oh my god, the ending. I'm only thinking about the ending and I'm trying not to spoil it. So a lot of things happen between Thea. There's a guy who passed away. It does trigger warnings. I'm smiling because this book was like heavy and plot. I've met Maggie. We went to high school together. This is one of the sweetest, kindest girls I've ever met. The fact that she had such depth in talking about something that I was struggling with this past year, she wrote it in such a way where I'm like, oh, I feel seen. If you've had mental health struggles prior, this will help you move towards healing with depression, talking about suicidal ideation and talking about family dynamics, talking about what found family is, talking about what loyalty is. She just did such a good job encompassing everything while making it interesting with the murder mystery, the connections, and towards the end, all the plot twists and everybody's in an identity crisis and what it means to be in high school and trying to figure out your life. And if things don't go the way that you think, can you start again? And can you start all over? And if there's sexuality in there as well, like knowing like what your sexuality is, phenomenal. And to the point where I'm like thinking about gifting this to everybody that I know. To Maggie, thank you for being a voice in something that isn't talked about. Back in our day, it wasn't. And write this at such an age. Honestly, I just want to say thank you for writing this because it genuinely just made me feel like I was finally heard. And the consequences of the aftermath was the heavy, like the real big point that I got out of it. The way that you wrote this is so smart, and I'm so proud of you. And to think that I have come, like I knew that I had very talented people around me. Like I knew how important everybody that in high school was going to be. To have known you and to have watched you grow up, it's phenomenal to see you go after your dreams. And from the small town that we're from, this was a 5-star read, 10 stars, 20 stars. It was just so good. It had every element that I needed into it. And I appreciate you for writing this because I'm trying not to cry, but just thinking about what this is, like one of those books that stays with you. I don't think I can read it again for another year because I was literally sobbing. I've been sobbing because of this book, and I still think about it and I still rave about it to everybody that I can. Thanks, Maggie. Alright, I don't have it with me. I think it was a library read. It's Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. It is about a reporter who goes back to her hometown to write about something that happened in her hometown. The same elements about family dynamics. There are a lot of trigger warnings in this one, especially if you have any history with alcohol abuse. Teaming up with a detective there because the girls were found dead. There's these teenage girls that were the same age as her younger sister getting found dead around the town. Oh my gosh, the ending, I was just like, like, where do people come up with this stuff? Maggie, how did you come up with it? Gillian Flynn, how did you come up with it? She's a reporter. She is the middle child of 3. Her mom is this like southern lady who loves the cotillion, who is all about image. And the oldest sister, I want to say it's the oldest sister, she passed away because she was sick. Oh, that's what happens towards the end. Oh, man. Just wait until the ending. It's so effed up. From like Boston or something like that, and she goes back home. All these murders are happening. She has a younger sister who has known these kids, the other girls, but she wasn't interacting with them. Sister is really cool. Her mom thinks that she's this perfect little angel, as if the youngest kid always gets away with everything, and the oldest kid's just, everything's perfect, and the middle kids, they don't care. Also concerned for her safety. She's just, please go home. Like, you're gonna end up like one of these girls if you don't go home. The mom blames her for her sister's death, and the mom is just such a, I don't understand. Like, I'm thankful that I don't have a mom like that. And I mean, my mom's all about image as well, but like nowhere, like at least my mom cares about me and my sisters. The police involved are obviously attracted to one another. The main character does have alcoholism. She's filling up with vodka like everywhere she goes. She reads like Shameless. They're getting closer and closer to the murders, and the ending is just like the plot twist, the way that everything works out. You're just like, there is a show as well. I haven't watched it yet. I know it's Amy Adams a part of it. 3 stars. I said all the trigger warnings. If you're not far along in your recovery, steer clear of this one until you're ready. As someone who has shared an experience with the main character, I really enjoyed how the story played out. A dark, twisted atmosphere, psychological depth kept me hooked. However, I figured out the whodunit pretty early on, which dulled the suspense a bit, so I'm giving it 3 stars. The main character, despite her questionable decisions, felt raw and transparent. I understood her wayward ways and the pain driving them, which hit close to home and made her compelling even when she was hard to root for. Flynn's sharp writing and flinching exploration of trauma makes this a gripping read, but go in prepared for its intensity, because it's intense. Alright, so the next book that I got to read this month was for the Vamos a Leer Más book club. It is a Latin book club here in Atlanta. It's A Cruel Thirst. I can't find the cover dust jacket for it, so I feel it's naked, but it's A Cruel Thirst by Angela Montoya. And this is so freaking cute. It is about vampires in the old 1800s of, I want to say Mexico, Sedientros. There's 2 main characters. It's Carolina and Lalo. I gave this a 5-star read. It was very easy to read. Very, like, it gripped you. It was 432 pages. It goes back and forth to their point of views. Lalo is, the first time you meet, he's in a vampire den. After he has trailed them from, he saw one of them, like the main chick, killing his parents. So he follows her into this vampire den, and he becomes one himself by accident, but he doesn't prey on people. I think he's attacked a couple people, but he hasn't fed on human blood. I think it's just been animal blood so far. So yeah, he was trying to kill this one person, not trying to kill everybody. He was just trying to kill this one person, but he's absolutely a coward. I think of the guy from Coco. I'll post him out here. I think of him when I'm reading him. And Carolina comes from a family of vampire hunters. She is a daughter and is very close to her grandfather. Unfortunately, the grandfather was attacked within the first 20 pages of this book, and it was so sad. I did not grow up with a grandfather. This hit hard because I could only imagine my grandfather being like, "You're my favorite grandchild." He favored her out of everyone because she was the most knowledgeable, she was the most enthusiastic, and she was quick-witted. You know, you knew that it was for a good cause, because she was just like a woman. Even though this is the times where women are really supposed to be the head of the household, how to defend the family. So he took favor in her. I can only imagine both my grandfathers doing that for me, because my father does that for me already. But anyways, Lalo goes to the same town that Carolina is from, because that is where they think the first instance of vampires comes from. And the way that it comes back, it all comes full circle. You're just like, what? Lalo and Carolina are really funny with their interactions. Just, "Oh, you don't tell me what to do." And he's just, I'm not trying to hurt you. I am just trying to find out how to not be a vampire anymore. And so they have a fake dating situation as well. Like, he proposes to her because she doesn't want to get married to who her father wants her to get married to. And it's just like the fact that this weak dude is supposed to take care of this strong-willed woman. Her father's just, yeah, that's not gonna happen. Her cousin named Anna. And the sister for Lalo, Maricela, and then that becomes a sapphic romance there. And it's so cute. I like them. The book was really easy to read. It was really fast. It was enjoyable. It was vampires. It was like October. It was spooky. And the girls and I, we got to talk a lot about being Americans and being Latina in this time right now, and how we never really fit in both like Latin and or like American. So this was really a good book to bond over. Even though you're of the somewhat same culture, there are still differences about each culture, each country that they come in. Yeah, the twist to this was really good. It was very cute. Because I am not attracted to Hispanic men, who I think of Lalo is not attractive. So yes, it was a cute story. The mom, the sister, and the cousin were probably my favorite out of all of them. So I definitely gave this a 5-star read. I think it's duology. I'm not exactly sure. I would have to look, but it was good to read the Latin author, and it has a family tree as well. So, To Shape the Dragon's Breath by Moniquill, Blackgoose. I gave it 3 stars. This was just a lot of world building. I can't even remember what to tell you anything about it. So basically there's this girl who is from an island, and she stumbles upon a dragon. Because you stumble upon a dragon egg, you have to go to this dragon school. And with this dragon school, you become an elite part of society. Again, she's coming from the sticks. This is 1800s, 1700s, UK, Europe, Belgium, and they have a map class. And it is a coming of age story. It does talk about sexuality with both boy and a girl, which I thought was really cute because I've never really been exposed to that. This is supposed to be like dragon, like fourth wing, super tamed down. There is a class system in here, societal class, and there's race involved as well. So, and because this is a series, I think that it was weak only because there wasn't much plot, like the end of the world feel, if that makes sense. This, I think Pocahontas sent to a 19th century dragon riding boarding school. Except this time the heroine has claws, chemistry, and zero interest in performing gratitude for colonizers. To keep her dragon, she must attend the hated, by her clan, English Dragon Academy, where proper manners, powdered wigs, and perfect curtsies are weapons used to civilize the savage. Coming of age as her sexuality comes into play in a class system. Anniquist is determined to master their rules and burn them down with dragon fire, if she must. It is something that I probably would have picked up, but because it's middle grade, I don't think that I would have read it just as fast. The English are just like, that's not how it's done here, so you gotta conform. She's just like, why do I have to conform? And I think I would bump it up to 4 just because when I'm sitting down thinking about it, I like remember a good bit of stuff. She was very kind to the boy that she's interested in, and there's a girl that she's interested in as well. The boy is somebody who's a fellow dragon shaper person. You have to shape the fire, because if they come out of control, then it's like with her dragons, if she doesn't control them, then they will go wild and kill her. The next book that I ended up reading was The Library of the Dead by T.L. Huchu. The concept is great, very hard to read, only because of the grammar, and I am a grammar Nazi, and this is very much middle grade, I want to say. It reads like middle grade, but I don't think it is. Darker skin type. Set grading near future Edinburgh, where the economy has collapsed and magic hides in the shadows, it follows 14-year-old Ropa, a street-smart ghost talker who delivers messages from the dead for cash. When the dead start begging her to investigate why their children are falling mysteriously ill, she's pulled into a dark conspiracy tied to a secret centuries-old magical library. The magic system rooted in Scottish folklore, Imbira music, and everywhere astral travel is what completely hooked me. It's inventive and feels alive. This first book is mostly setup and world building, but I'm already dying, pun intended, for the sequels to lean harder into the creepy stacks, romantic lore, and that perfect blend of libraries and the macabre the title promises. So again, it is world building, 14-year-old, she's like, talking like, yeah, I'm a hoodlum. She's taking care of her grandmother and her little sister. This is like the only cash that she can get, or they're gonna get evicted. And Ready Player One meets, she can speak to the dead. She's very disrespectful, to be quite honest. And she's just like very, are you gonna give me cash or not? Are we gonna get onto this or not? And she's very not polarized with everything that's going on. She does have nightmares. It helps her with the astral element of everything that's going on. I do have the rest of the books up here, and I'm gonna finish the series because it is a series. I liked it. Again, it was just the world building, and the grammar is going to kill me. I did like System in the Library being in the cemetery. I thought that was so cool. It just made me think of like New Orleans, but this is in Edinburgh. She gets really up close and personal with the bad guy, and because it's a series, you can't really talk about it unless you're reading it. And I haven't finished it, so I don't know what the ending is, so I can't. Maybe I'm gonna love all of it together, or maybe I'm just gonna be like mad about it. But it broke up what I was reading, so I had to pay attention to it more, if that makes sense. Because it was middle grade, I glossed over it. But I really like the Magic System. The Other Side of Now by Paige Harbison. Wow. This was 5 stars, like 10 stars. Again, this is part of where I was with my healing journey. This is like the little bow to wrap it in. It was so beautiful. It was written in a way where it was easy to read. There was a lot of references to everything that's happening now, so like within the past year or two. And this was a book club read. Just want to say this was for my Books and Banter book club. I love this. So we're talking about Meg. Her station is like Lana or something like that. And you meet her as a soap opera star. I think of like Joey from Friends. That's what I'm thinking of, like Days of Our Lives star. It's her birthday party. She's living with her really hot boyfriend that was supposed to be for press. And then they ended up liking each other, so they ended up staying together. But she's not totally in love with him. Keeps catching him with a co-star or something like that. So she thinks he's cheating on her. He may not be, but it's looking that way. So she's like, can you not have the decency to at least pretend to not do it near me, especially on my birthday? It's her 30th birthday, and she starts thinking about her best friend, who we find out has passed away when she was like 18, 19, or so. The reason why she came out to LA. But she doesn't talk about her past life. She has no desire to talk about it. It's just really hard for her. So this new persona, nobody knows about her past. So she's coming to a point where I'm just so empty. I don't know what else to do. Thinking back to the last time she was happy with her best friend, but her best friend passed away, so that's where everything hit. And so she's, what if I went to Ireland? What if I went there and just got away from everything? I'm so dead inside, might as well go. I just need to get out and take a time out for a week. So it's like the holiday. This is what everybody came up with, is like the holiday. On her way to, she basically tells her assistant, emails her boyfriend, hey, I'm peacing out for a week. Don't need me. And she goes to the place where she was supposed to go to for school before, and this is where it talks about dual timelines, where if you had taken this path, where would the other path have taken you? So she was going to that path where she was like, if I had gone to the school immediately after college, what would have changed? That's where some freak accident happens in the plane. She ends up living that reality of, if I had gone to the school, what would have happened? And so basically what they're saying is this alternate reality of her, there's 2 realities, the one that she took and the one that she could have taken. And so the magic system is where these 2 intersect, where they both are crossing the ocean to understand the other's point of view, if that makes sense. Because this one's having that same kind of, if I had just gone to like Hollywood, I would have just bet on myself, I would be having everything I want. So that's where the magic system intersects, because they were both leaving at the same time, both were across the ocean at the same time, and then that way. So she's living this life, but with this life, her best friend is alive. She's finally coming to terms with the fact of her grief, the fact that they didn't end things in the best way, like she saw her friend die. Ooh, just talking about it makes me. The first thing that she does is this cute little cottage that ends up being her home. It's so cute. It's like the holiday. This is where the holiday comes in. Then you go to this pub, and obviously the hottest guy there ends up being the guy that you've been on and off again. His name is Gillian. Well, we're still debating. And so he's just treating her with such disgust. And she's like, what did I do to you? I just walked in the bar. So and then there's a girl who sits next to her and pretends like they're best friends, or acts like they're best friends. And she's, oh yeah, I thought you guys were on and off again. Are you guys on again? And then she's just like, so confused by it. But now she's understanding that she's in an alternate reality. In this alternate reality, she calls her mom, but she's like afraid to ask the question if her friend's alive. She doesn't want to feel that disappointment. And then something happens where she talks to the best friend again, and she's just, oh yeah, you guys got in a big old fight. You guys can't talk. She's alive, and she can't tell anybody. But then everybody's thinking that she's having amnesia or faking it, because apparently she's dramatic that way. The big anticipation at all. It's like, she doesn't meet her best friend until halfway through the book. And I'm over here, if it was me, I would have been running to her house. I would have, hey, let's talk, let's figure this out. And that's essentially what she's doing. And the best is just like, there's too much going on right now. Like the one who passed away, there's too much going on right now that like I have kids, I have a boyfriend. You don't like my boyfriend. There's a bunch of other things that you don't like about my life and you made it a problem. You would not stop complaining. And so she's learning how to practice gratitude through all this. She doesn't know what her other half is doing because I wish that there was another book based on Meg on that side and learning what she realizes is if she ends up with Kieran or not on that one. The romance of it was minimal. This was focusing on friendships, sisterhood, and it was so beautiful, especially in the way that they like talked about it, because obviously she was like asking like, hey, why are you so clingy with me? Am I dead in this other one? And she like doesn't say, and she's like, no, you're just like, you just up and left and became a playwright, and we just lost touch. But the only person who knows that she's dead, like this best friend is dead, is Kira. She's helping her be like, maybe we shouldn't tell her that, or because that'd freak her out. The best friend, what is the best friend's name? Because I cannot remember it. Amy's the best friend. Kira is the other friend. And she's confiding in Kira, hey, like, I am from this alternate reality. I am a bigwig, I'm like on this other side. She's, yeah, sure, whatever. Intrigued by it, but everybody thinking that she's just having amnesia and she's just having an episode right now. Trying to get attention. So Amy invites Meg back into her life with her kids, and the boy Meg is just like all about the kids, like just anything to do with you, let's do it all. So they go from like, not hanging out in this alternate reality because they had this big old fight to like doing everything together, and Amy buys into it, but then you'll find out later that she was just like going into this because I just didn't want any drama and helping you throughout whatever you're working through just as a friend. But we have a lot of root issues that we have to work through. Amy has this, she's directing this play that this big network dude is coming to come look at, or some big huge critic. Amy puts Meg as like the star of it. The other chick got seeing Meg and Amy. And this is where the story gets like, oh my gosh. Meg starts telling Amy, why don't we rewrite the story to this way? And then she's like a ghost this entire time, or she's dead. And Amy's like, why are we changing everything up on the very end? And so Amy changes her mind. It's just, let's do it your way. They just ad-lib most of it. And basically that moment is Amy and Meg, like Amy helping Meg work through her trauma with Amy's death. And oh my God, just thinking about it is just so beautiful. And I'm over here like crying because it is just such a beautiful thing to read. The way that it ends, it isn't anywhere where you think it's going to be. Oh my gosh. As someone who is reunited with a family who has lost one of their children and was so close to back in high school, oh my gosh, just this hurt me in every way. It wasn't because of this book that I reconnected with them. It was because of everything else that happened to me this past year. I reconnected with them because I felt like that was my healing journey. And Meg doing that with Amy's family was just, oh my God. And like Amy's family not giving her shit for it and not being like, oh, you left us or whatever. And instead they were giving her grace the way that my adopted family was giving me grace for not knowing how to handle grief and seeing them in pain. And oh my God, just thinking about it. The Other Side of Now, it is a book that you have to read when the right time for you. I think the majority was like 8s and 9s around the table. There was like 2 people who had like 6 or 7s. Gave it like a 10 plus because it kind of met me where I was at currently, like grief and learning how to move on without the other person. And no, my grief isn't about somebody who passed away, not at this stage. Like I've already dealt with that, but it's more of moving on from somebody that you know and they want nothing to do with you. I'm working through that kind of grief, and it doesn't come in the same way. One person can't come back. The other person is choosing not to come back. And it's learning how to cope with that. So that's what The Other Side of Now does, and I'm like already crying because of it. And then I'm gonna end this series with The Name Bearer. Sorry about that. My camera shut off because I was talking for so dang long. That's because that's how good a few of these books were. Okay, so the last book that I ended up reading was Name Bearer for my fall wrap-up. Name Bearer was for my Vamos a Leer Más book club. Again, it's that Latin book club that I joined here in Atlanta. I read it through Kindle. I gave it a 3 stars. Now, this is part of a series, 290 pages long, by Natalia Hernandez. I'm gonna post it up here. And it's part of the Flowers of Prophecy #1. Currently, there are 3 books out there and a novella, and I am actually listening to the second one via audiobook because honestly, I got confused with everything in this book, and it wasn't just me. I didn't end up going to the meet for vamos a leer, but they met up at this cute little coffee shop in Johns Creek area called La Abuela. And I ended up going the week after, and it was so cute. Oh my gosh, guys. It was so freaking cute. The food was good. The cafe was really good because I got the iced version of the cafecito. And I went with my sister because we went on the Atlanta Indie Bookshop crawl. And that is going to be the next video that I upload, or I'm working on here. With the name Barry, this is what I said. The concept. A girl whose whole job is to pull a secret royal name from the magical flowers of prophecy botches it when the flowers refuse the prince and declare some mystery kid the real chosen one. Fail to find him, and she's branded a traitor. So she goes on the run, hides out in warrior nun school, iconic, finally picks a name for herself, only to have to ditch it later when she's sent to track down the unnamed prince and whisper his true name to him. The stakes are wild. The world building slaps, Latin-inspired folklore, prophetic blooms that dictate your fate at birth, and warrior nuns who feel like the queer squad we deserve. I don't know what POC means at the time that I wrote this. Okay, worth it for the fresh, unhinged, middle grade YA fantasy vibes. Percy Jackson meets Latin American myth with extra sparks. The execution, though, didn't pretty much land for me. The constant near-death escapes start feeling cartoonish after a while. There's only so many times I can believe someone survives by sheer plot armor before I'm like, okay, chill. But this might have been the mood reading talking too, so overall entertaining, and I am going to finish the series. So we have the named bearer. That is what the title is. Then the wizard at the time, she goes in, flowers, they're supposed to tell you the name of the royal spawn, and they refused to do that to her. So they were like, you should go find the unnamed prince. She's like, what? Why does it have to go bad on me? Why am I the one that it all goes bad for? I didn't choose this. One, so basically what happens with families is that they have to give up their child, and like they strip of them their name, they strip them of anything, and so these families are supposed to be taken care of by the king, by the kingdom. What normally happens, and they tell you this in the second book, so this family just gives up claim to this child. So this child goes to the wizard, and the wizard's just, so what did the flowers tell you? And just makes up a name, and she goes, no, like they refuse to tell me, like I don't know, like why does this have to happen to me? And he's just, that's right, because I chose you. I specifically chose you. I knew that there's something special about you. And she goes, I didn't choose this life either. Why are you choosing it for me? Like the fourth wall was broken, and I really enjoyed that because she was sassy for someone her age. And you're supposed to be like, when you're growing up in the royal court, like you're supposed to show mannerisms, but she's just, I have been loyal. I've been doing like what I need to do, and you guys like strip me. I don't have family anymore. I'm like, I don't even have a name for myself. I have nothing to claim to my titles, and that all goes away because you randomly chose me out of everybody to be special, quote unquote, and now I have to go on the run because you chose me and not through some whatever. And it's not my fault that the flowers didn't want to tell me the name. Like, why does it have to be me? Like, not me. Which I thought, again, it was really funny, and I think that it was like a different approach to what normally happens with children in these middle grade fantasy things. They're never like, why is it me? They're like, I just want a simple life. But typically tragedy happens on their end, and they're like, why does it have to be me? But this, from right off the bat, is like the entitled version of her. And I can't even blame her, because I would probably be just as upset being like, yo, I wanted a comfortable life, and now you're telling me I have to go on the run. Essentially, the wizard arranges the high priestess of this nun's school that's a warrior camp to grab her and get her. Typically, when you go to this warrior school for nuns or whatever, it's typically for people younger than her. So these kids are way more advanced than she is, and she steps into this world, and they're all girls. She immediately makes friends, so you're following her throughout the entirety of her time there. And then all of a sudden, like the wizard said, 10 years later, the wizard sends his apprentice down to her. When she's at this nun school, the high priestess asks her what's her name, and she just gave herself one as Nessa. It's like Nessa or something like that. So then she's feeling like she has an identity, and now she has to go on the lam again. The high priestess knows, but this time basically she's supposed to go through these trials. She's watching her friends go through the trials to become the actual warriors or whatever, getting that title, but she can't do it because she knows that she has to be under the radar. And everyone's like, why don't you do the trials? And she's just, no, I'm not ready. And everybody's leaving her one by one to the point where it's just the last one. And the last one just pissed me off because she had this near-death experience where it got really bad, but she turned out to be fine. And then it happens again later in the book where something happens to the apprentice and you're just like, he goes like haywire and turns on her and it narrowly escapes death. And you're just like, there's no real death here. There's nothing happening. But she chooses her name. Her last name ends up being Nova. And then it switches POV after the apprentice comes. And so you're following the different girls who graduated from this warrior nun school who were her best friends. And you're following their, like, two. Sorry, I wasn't thinking. So it switched up real hard on us. And then she's on the lam to go find this unnamed prince 10 years later. And if there is something that happens where the king dies in the beginning, or the second book, The Followers of Flowers, that one I'm listening to right now because I can't find it on Kindle, but I think that the second one is like a better start. So this third one, I got confused. It was slower. It's her growing up and everything like that. I think that by the time that she is done with this book, she's 23 or something. It gets a little bit more mature. She has many vicarious moments with herself in there. There is like a warrior training camp too that's along with the warrior nuns. So there's like the guy version of it, and think of, is it heavyweights or something like that, where they have the boys and girls and then they mix and stuff like that, and it gets really weird. I might be thinking it's heavyweights, that they have that scene where they go into the dance or whatever. I might be wrong. That's how I felt. It was like a boys camp, girls camp. You're following these different girls in the second book, and you're following Nova, and then you follow that journey as well. So the third one was like the world building, the growing up part, and it felt like the Philosopher's Stone was like when you're reading it as an adult, you're like, come on, let's get to the actual thick of it, like the fights and stuff like that, or what the real fight is about. So that's how it felt. The closest thing that I can think of is like the Philosopher's Stone, and then when you slowly progress into what Harry Potter is, because everybody skips the first and second one, but the second one has like darker themes, so it has more adult themes in it, and it is readable. So yeah, I gave that again a 3 stars. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's 3.5 stars if we're gonna combine The Followers of Flowers right now, because I'm finishing it almost. I'm like 40% of the way in, and it's due tomorrow, so I can get that done by today. I think I'm giving that book like a 3.5 right now, and this one's been a 3, and Name Bearer is 3. That is it for wrap up here. I will put all the book descriptions down on the link below if you want to follow me on Goodreads to keep on real time of what I'm reading, and also if you want to keep up on Instagram, I have all those socials linked down below. I've already streamed for Twitch here the past couple months. Actually, I played Hogwarts Legacy for the first time. I accidentally hit Hufflepuff, and I am a Ravenclaw, but Hufflepuff apparently has a side murder mystery to come along with it, and I've really enjoyed that. So sometime in December, I am going to be streaming again for Extra Life, which is a charity that my company was raising funds for. So if you feel inclined to come and watch me on that, I'll post on the links in my Instagram and Twitch if you want to follow along. Put a notification on for when I go live and attempt to play the finish Hogwarts Legacy, because that is like my big goal before 2025 ends, is to finish Hogwarts Legacy. And I also want to start Kingdom Hearts, meaning the very first one, Kingdom Hearts 1, then 3, as the 4th one is going to be coming out here pretty soon. I did start Dreamlight Valley on there as well, but I got really frustrated with how I was supposed to plant bread. So thank you so much for joining. I hope that I wasn't super long-winded. I hope that my crying didn't deter you from it, especially the themes of it, but that doesn't take away how good the writing is. At the end of the day, what these books left me feeling with is what I'm hoping it feels for you, where you feel like it impacted you at some point. So follow me on those links. I hope that you guys had a really good holiday. I'm actually back in the holiday spirit in general. Thanksgiving isn't really something that Latins really celebrate. I'm a huge Christmas fan, or the holidays, because I know everybody celebrates something different. So I'm actually hosting a Christmas dinner called the Midwinter's Table. I've decked out my house for it, and I actually put on some string lights here since cut off while yeah, thank you for joining, and I really hope that you guys have a good rest of your day whenever you're watching this, and I hope it wasn't too long-winded. Again, I just had a lot to say about these books. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a good one. Emrys, come here! Come say bye! Get a corgi, they said. It'll be fun, they said. Thanks, bye.
Is it your turn? If your town was a dream.
So what I'm doing right now is I am transferring from this DGI. Okay. So I'm the footage from here while I watch the B version.